Go on.
Hi everybody, thank you very much for joining us. This is the launch, episode 1 of Shakey's cricketing journeys. I'm that bored in lockdown that I decided that I like to talk, and it's good to put some content out there and keep people busy in times of, tough times that we're all in. And who better than to get on as my first guest and somebody that probably talks even more than me. So I'd like to welcome Ryan Flannigan of Kelsey to Shakey's cricketing journeys. Welcome, Ryan.
Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm very well, mate. Thanks for having me on board. It's been a long time. It's good to hear your voice. Already, I obviously spoke to you yesterday and bringing back some old memories of our cricketing days and the laughs we used to have. So now it's difficult times, isn't it, at the moment for a lot of people, and it's always good to hear a familiar voice.
Yeah, no, definitely. I felt the same way. I hadn't spoken to you in years up until that phone call. I had a couple of, you have a bit of interaction on social media here and there, but talking to somebody is totally different. Now we're face to face. I can just remember that face all those years ago, coming in with a big swagger, which I had a lot of time for. I want to start first of all, but obviously we're in difficult times, mate. Coronavirus and the pandemic that we're going through. Have you just been pretty much housebound with your other half?
Yeah, so been very fortunate enough, mate. Like obviously, working recruitment now and recruiting the food industry. So the food industry is still going. You need to feed the nation. So I think we're lucky, and I've got a lot of my friends who are on furlough and who are recruiting finance and different sectors. So yeah, fortunate enough, I'm still pretty much working. 8 till 6, half 6 at night. But yeah, been in with the missus and the little dog, and I'm very fortunate enough to have a small garden, and you take that for granted. I was in a flat a year ago, so it's tough, isn't it, not being able to see your family, your loved ones as much as you'd like to. I miss Bud and Dottie, but I try and catch up with them as much as I can. Obviously on FaceTime, and I think everyone's trying to do that. So yeah, it's tough, mate, but we'll get through it. And I think the cricketing world out there, a lot of the boys are struggling. I can speak for the Grange lads. They want to get together and play some cricket. And a lot of people's livelihoods, they might be coaching and stuff like that as well. So it's tough, mate, but we'll get through it.
No, absolutely. I mean, good to hear your situation. I remember talking to you when it all kind of started. There was a few messages I had for you on social media, and you'd said that it was obviously worrying times for the business. And it's good to hear that things are still ticking along. I unfortunately got let go from my job, and my employer did not furlough me. So shit happens, as they say. But at this moment in time, I think there's so much more to life than worrying about money and finances. I think if your health is your wealth, it really does apply more than ever right now. So so thankfully, I can see your missus in the background there. She hasn't killed you yet. You're surviving. There's no breakup on the cards.
No, mate, we're still locked in at the moment. She's actually stuck in the cupboard. I locked her away just in case. She's been a bit of a pain in the arse.
Likewise, mate. Likewise. I've locked the kitchen door. My wife and my daughter are locked away in the sitting room. I'll say.
That was also awesome to see that. Congratulations on the.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It was a bit of a mixed emotion one, because obviously I've not seen my son in quite a long period of time. Yeah. But there comes a time where you need to get on with life, and I thought it was a good time to do so.
No, well done.
Okay, so we've had all the small talk. Nice to see you. We're introduced. We're familiarised with each other again. So I want to go and talk about what brought us together in life, which is obviously cricket. Mm-hmm. And what I really want to ask you is how did Kelsey produce Ryan Flannigan?
It's a funny one, actually, because I suppose the borders and it doesn't produce a lot of decent cricketers, and I think my uncle Jack Kerr, obviously he played Scotland, and he got 55 caps, and my dad was a good cricketer, a good club cricketer, played for the South, and to be honest, Kaz, I was born with a set of pads on. Do you know what I mean? I
didn't know that. I didn't realise that. I didn't realise that your uncle, did you say, played?
Jack.
I knew your dad played a little bit, But I didn't know so much about your uncle. So that makes perfect sense then, because you know, and he played for Scotland. Did he play?
Yeah, Uncle Jack, who's the president for Cricket Scotland. Oh God, maybe 5 or 6 years ago now. It might have been actually when I was playing, so a bit longer. And he was, I think he played at Perthshire, he played at Kelso, but they played with Andy Gorham as well. So Andy Gorham played at Kelso and played with Uncle Jack, and Uncle Jack played with Gilchrist. And so yeah, cricketing sort of family and sporting family. And from a young age, I used to go Shin Park and Kelso and watch Dad play and my uncle play, and just you just got that love for it from a young age, didn't you? You know, I remember my dad, an old story actually. I was just thinking about, you know, someone said to me, Ryan, you know, you had you know, you could time a ball really well. Why was that? And it was actually Dougie Wilson from Kelso on Facebook the other night, and there was a video of this guy. I don't know if you've seen it. A Pakistani guy. He's drilled a hole in the side of his bat, and he's got this ball swinging around, and he's hitting timing the ball. So what Dad did for me was he drilled a hole in a cricket ball, put a bit of string on it, attached it to the top of the carport at the back of the house, and I used to hit this ball, guys, for hours on end, just bang, timing, and that's how I become, you know, my timing was good with hitting that ball, and it was funny. Dougie Wilson mentioned, Brian, every time I came back from the pub, all I could hear was you clattering that roof, hitting away the ball. So yeah, little memories like that as a kid, and running round to Shin Park to see Dad play on a Saturday, and that's what gets the buzz for it. So yeah, it all started at Kelso for me, mate, and I suppose you know, being a young lad from Kelso, you know, you played in the South District when you got, you know, to a certain age, and it was tough because the South were, you know, like one of those teams just get walked over, didn't we, all the time?
Yeah, and it was, you always had one or two good players, but never enough to really, you know, it was always contested between the, you know, the North, the West, and the East and the South were always kind of the. I mean, I remember years ago playing at Fetties, is where the under 15 districts used to be, and the festival, and the under 13 used to be at Merchiston. And I scored a fair amount of runs against the South. Poor guys, man, they would go for like 270, 280, and then you'd roll them for about 30 or 40. So it was a long day for them. But then that probably allowed you to, I mean, I never played against you. How old are you now, Flannigan?
I'm 31 at the moment, mate.
So 4-year difference. So I never played that era against you, but I guess that would have allowed you to kind of stand out as well. Like if you got a 50 against one of the bigger district teams, you know, it made you stand out that bit more than what a North, 3 or 4 North guys getting a 50 in an innings. If you got a 50 for the South, people would probably notice you more that way.
Yeah, I think you're right, and I think a lot of people, you know, obviously Mum and Dad put a lot of effort into me bringing me. I went to Durham Academy when I was 12, 13, 14, and brought me up to Edinburgh to MES, you know, the dreaded hall, and the amount of hours we spent in there over the years, and they put a lot of effort in, you know, taking me X, Y, and Z. And I think for me, you know, I was playing for Scotland under 13s when I was 11, and got to Scotland under 15s when I was 11, 12, and I remember scoring runs at Ampleforth and you know, going down and playing at Merchiston, like you said. And I think that was the chat. You could see that obviously I was standing out at that young age, but the South only went to under 15, so I had to move into the East when I was, you know, up in under 18s. And I suppose that, you know, that's a challenge for a lot of, you know, young cricketers in the Borders. You're not going to make it unless you make the move and come up to Edinburgh or change about. And a few boys have done that. So
when did you join? Did you leave Kelsey Cricket Club then at that point? Did you? Because I remember my memories of you were a Watsonians player to begin with. So when did you make the move to another club?
I went to Pennycook actually. I was at university and I went to Pennycook for 1 year because Big Willie Morton. Willie was obviously a big part of my early career as well.
Likewise, the late Willie Morton. It was really, really sad news to see. To see him depart.
Great man, the boss, and he was like, you know, I was playing under 17s and 19s, and he was the coach, and Willie's like, you know, listen, Ryan, if you want to push on your cricket career, maybe you should come and, you know, join Pennycook. I played Pennycook for a season, and to be honest with me, I didn't score any runs. I found it difficult challenge, different wickets, and I was sort of, you know, at that time in my career where I was probably just a bit, you know, too flashy with the bat, and I think I moved to it was Drummle. After a tour, sort of said to me, Drummle was obviously, you know, future went on to be my captain. He said, Ryan, come play at Watson's. So I must have been probably 19, mate, 19 sort of ish, 20 when I came up to Watson's.
Nice. Probably a wise move, I would say, in regards to the fact that you kind of went on to achieve higher honours. You might have struggled at Pennycook. It's always harder when you come from a smaller club. I mean, being from the West, there's so many good cricketers that I think have probably slipped through the wayside. I can think of a couple of names that were getting discussed the other night on Twitter after we put out our West team, was players like Ali Rollinson, who played for Drupelia. Probably didn't go further because of maybe the club he was playing for. Even though Drupelia is quite a well-known club, it tends to always be your Clydesdales, your Grange. There's some good banter coming out in the next one. We fairly get stuck into the Stag Park boys. Who I still kind of get my head around how you and Neil McCallum fit in there.
People just get jealous of success, mate.
But I mean, do they understand you down there, Flannigan?
It's not actually. It wasn't until I went to Australia when I was 19. I went to Sydney and I had to learn to speak slower, shaky, because me and you in the same room in a pub. We used to start with my women, didn't we? Because being a Ouija, I totally understand. The same thing can happen for me when I was working down south, because you'll phone somebody up, can I speak to such and such, and I found myself. Somebody actually asked me one day, "Are you?" I said I was from Scotland. He said, "Oh, you don't sound like you're from Scotland because you don't even realise how much you change how you talk. You're like, hi, how you doing? Nice to talk to you." And you can really you lose all that. You lose all that twang, but we don't have that problem today. I can understand Kelsey and you can understand Ouija, so we're all good. So Watsonians, you had some good years. That's when I kind of started to come. That's when I started to come across you, Flanners. And what stands out for me with you was, you had the ability to do things. You didn't do things very much. You weren't a mechanical player. My biggest frustration is when I see people that come out and bat and they're really mechanical. And maybe that comes back to the drills that you've just talked about there in your youth and stuff, that you had the ability to flick the ball off your legs, use your wrists, which is very, very Asian. It's a very kind of subcontinent kind of skill. Do you think that was from your childhood and when you were practicing? Is that something, or did that come from watching certain players on the TV when you were growing up? I think it just Dad obviously just coached me to come naturally, mate. Playing. Dad was always a big believer in if a bowler bowls you a bad ball in your legs, you got to hit it for four. And I think I just picked it up over the years, and I think you're right. For me, I remember Phil. Remember Huddle, Phil Hudson. Remember Huddle? And there's another guy, Gordon Lordy. He was a coach, and he said to me, Ryan, you've got the fastest hand since Owen Morgan, and I sort of laughed at him when he said that, but. Even Beryl would say that, I had quick hands, mate, and I try to play. To be honest, when I was first coming to the Watsons team, before I went to Adelaide, when I was maybe 21, 22, I'd been more of a batsman who'd been known to try and grind out a 50 or 60. Do you know what I mean? And try and score runs and bat longer, and it wasn't until later on in my career that I actually started to believe in myself a lot more and take the batsman on and my time and hitting the ball for six quite easily. That was something that came later in my game. But again, that might have been a mindset thing, Carl, as well. It's weird how different coaches can change your outlook as well.
Oh, fantastic, mate! I want to jump now straight. I want to just jump right into the time from when we knew each other, because that's you've given me a good insight into your upbringing. It was very interesting to hear about your uncle. I had no idea, to be honest. So it makes perfect sense. Similar to myself, my dad's brother played for Pakistan back in the 60s.
Yeah.
So again, getting taken over to Pakistan as a 2 or 3 year old, there's nothing else to do. Just like all the kids here are kicking a ball around.
Yeah.
Everywhere you look, they're playing cricket. So again, my story is probably similar to yours. I was born with a pair of pads on.
Mm-hmm.
Right, okay. So first time I met you, Flanners, I'm pretty sure it was Nottinghamshire.
Right.
We were playing. Now, people I think sometimes forget about this. I personally think we should be given a lot more credit for those couple of seasons that we all played, because I think it paved the way for a lot of good cricketers to come through. Mm-hmm. Now you've got the odd games in the development 11 that go down and play against Mickey Mouse teams, if you ask me. Mm-hmm. If you remember right, back then, we were playing second 11, county championship. And just to start with, on your first game against Nottinghamshire, I can name a few players that played in that game for Notts. Alex Hales.
Yeah.
Andre Adams of New Zealand. Harris, the opening bowler, who opened the bowling for Nottinghamshire, first team for many years. Bilal Shafayat, who I'm actually going to be doing a show with in the next couple of days because we played together in Pakistan as well. That's just to name a few players. I remember we turned up, had the toss, and they'd elected to bat, and you know we went out to field. And my first funny memory of that innings was I brought Willie Rowan on first change to bowl, and Alex Hales hit him for like I think 2 sixes in the first over mid wicket. And I'd left slip to go to mid off, young lad bowling his first time in this level, and I went to mid off and I was like, Willie, like just look to hit you, and he's just turned around and me, what the fuck's he doing, Shaky? It's a fucking 3-day game. And I'm like, welcome to playing for Scotland in the big time, mate. Nobody plays against us like it's a 3-day game. They play against us like it's a 2020. So you need to get used to it and you need to figure this out pretty quickly. So that was my initial memory, and you know I think they probably hit us for the usual, probably hit us for a good 350, pushing 400, and then we went out to bat, and it was Majid Hackett said to me, Majid has just always got knowledge, he just knows things that other people don't know, and he said to me that you could play a bit, and you know it was a bit like when Hoggy came in. I had the same chat with Hoggy a few days back. I wasn't convinced. I thought you had a bit of a gobby wee shite. You're swaggering about a little bit, and I thought, this is just going to probably go out here, get found out. Ball's going to be too quick for him. Going to snick off. Going to be another. He's good in club cricket, but he doesn't make the leapfrog. And I'll never forget it. First couple of overs from Harris. Now, Harris was probably bowling mid 80s at least, 85 to 86. I would say he was bowling that day. And you flicked them off your legs. 1, 2, 3, couple of boundaries off your legs, and I was like loving it, man, sitting in the boundary line watching. So do you remember that?
I do, mate. I remember it. It was just like a whirlwind. You come in and facing these boys, and I'd watched that, Harris on the telly, and he was a good first class cricketer, wasn't he? And you watched Andre Adams playing Test match cricket for New Zealand, and I think I got 30 odd or 40 odd, didn't I?
I think you got 40, and you actually I think you gave it away. I think you might have got yourself out when you probably could have gone on. But yeah. I think you were just, the adrenaline had taken over that day.
It was mental. I just remember, these boys running, charging the ball, and it was hitting the keeper's gloves, with 3 or 4 yards quickly. You're used to, you could hear it zipping past your nose. And I remember the buzz that day. And like you say, it just went over in a flash. I remember thinking to myself, whoa, actually, I might be able to compete at this level. And that was the first time I actually got a wee sniff of it and thinking, this is what you want to do. And what a difference that was, what a difference that actually made to my career, those 2-3 seasons, mate. One thing, if you look back at my career, okay, I've scored a few hundreds in club cricket, but not as many as I should have. No way. I've been one of those players like flashing the pan, 30, 40s, getting out all the time. That's been the problem my whole career. But in the A-team stuff, maybe not so much, maybe the year 2 or 3, but I got 100 against Durham 2s. I got 100 against Leicester 2s. And a few decent scores here, and that for me was it's 5-10 times better than any club cricket you're going to get in Scotland. But saying that, when I first broke into the scene at Watson's, guys, and you'll know it well, Scotland, you used to have some decent games. These 3 West teams in Clydesdale versus Grange and Watson's versus Ade or something like that. They were some decent pros in the league.
Yeah, definitely. It's something I've been yapping about for years, that they should have just kept the Premier Division and then regionalised the rest, because the standard of cricket back then, like you say, the pros, the amateurs, every single team you played against had 2 or 3 Scotland internationalists. You would turn up on a Saturday and you'd be thinking, game on here, and then the rivalry between the East and the West always added to it.
Was it not Greg Williamson? Was it Greg Williamson who played at Clydesdale? He would give it a proper, he give you plenty verbal, and you felt like in a real battle at Clydesdale when you came to play, and that's what really, that what sort of set me up for cricket. I was before I was in the Scotland teams at Watson's, in these games against Clydesdale and they got West of Scotland, even like Colin de Grunholm, he bowled a decent spell at me one day at West, and Alan Wise played for the Grange that year, and I was at Watson's and he was charging in, and I think going back to the second stuff, my memory, was obviously watching you bat as well, and and you could see you'd obviously performed at the highest level for Scotland as well, and you could see that if you got in, you were going to score runs. That's what I thought, and I always wanted to try and get to that level when because you were good you were good at cutting the ball, very good cover drive, and we had some unbelievable funny laughs, didn't we, playing for the A team? And I think the quickest guy I've ever faced, still to this day, and I don't know if you were there, I think this might have been near the end. I remember Fraser Burnett hiding in the changing rooms like he usually does at 6 or 7 because he didn't fancy the pace. But it was Mark Footett bowling for Derby 2's mate, and he's the quickest boy I've ever seen.
Lefty.
He runs in and he's got that slingy action, and the ball comes from behind him.
Yeah,
he was bowling thunderbolts. It was nice.
Yeah, he's rapid. I faced him, Flannigan, when he was 15. We were down on an under-19 tour. It was just before we went to the World Cup. I would only have been 16 at the time. Monty was 15. We were the two youngest in the team. We've gone down to have like a tour of like Staffordshire and a few other areas, and we played against Notts, and he was 15, and I'd never seen anything like it. Like you say, he doesn't fly in, but when he lets the ball go, it was like thunderbolts, man, and it was like, holy shit, this guy's rapid. So I faced him. I think I faced him twice, and I would say he's probably he's up there. But I have faced a ball off Brett Lee, and I faced a couple off Mitchell Johnson as well. So they maybe are just topped that pace. But Footett was. I'm surprised he didn't really go on actually to play for England, because he had all the ability.
He bowled the red ball that day, shaking up, and even Barrow and boys were struggling with the pace he had that day, and I'll never forget that spell. And me and Simesy, remember, I don't know if you remember Symes that came over and proed for Watsons. He proed for the Scotland team as well.
Oh yeah, I remember.
Well, we went out on Edinburgh on the Sunday night and got absolutely hammered on the Sunday night. Me, Hoggy, and Simesy.
Right.
And Johnny was taking us down on the Monday.
Yeah.
Day for the Tuesday. So I was in the back of the people carrier. Johnny's driving. Hoggy's in the back, Simon's in the front seat, and I'm sitting with the Morrison's bag, spewing into the Morrison's bag. I was so hungover.
I remember. I know you could do. You would front up all right in a hangover, but Hoggy used to look like shit. He looked like shit at the best of the times. But he would just come out with hair everywhere, no effort made to try and even show that, you know what, I'm all right. Just looking like shit.
In Kenya, were you not on Kenya or something like that? Were you not playing the Scotland team? Was Hoggy?
Yeah, I scored 100 in Kenya.
Was he not being drunk? Was he not drunk there or something like that?
He wasn't, so he didn't play. So he got, there was the day that we won the I Cup game, that was a story that sticks to me, is me and him were rooming, and he'd had a couple of babies, and I went back to the hotel room, and I opened the bathroom door to walk in, and he turned around and he had a Gillette shaving foam, and he just, as I opened the door, he just went, shaky, and sprayed it literally all over my eyes. I thought I was blind. I didn't know much about. I'm thinking Gillette shaving foam. Has this got something in it? I couldn't see for about half an hour. Every time I tried to open my eyes, they were just closing again. So I'll never forget that. But back to the Nottinghamshire game. Another very funny story from that game that I will never ever forget was second innings. We'd gone out to bat, and we were like 5 or 6 down, and we were losing the match. We were going to lose. I was on about 60. And Zishan came out to bat, the wee Yemen, and he came out to bat, and he faces up, and Andre Adams is bowling, and Bash is like backing away a little bit, and Adams puts it up there in the kind of nice slot, and Bash goes 4. Andre Adams bowls him another one. Bash again goes 4, and I'll never forget. Andre Adams just walked down the wicket. I just looked at him and said to him, "You fucking do that again, mate, I'm going to bowl at your fucking head." Bash went white. He was like, I remember walking down the wicket and going, "You're all right, Bash, just keep your eye on the ball." And he was like, he totally froze. But I'll never forget that day, because there were great moments like that where,
Remember his knock at Blackpool against Lancashire Twos?
Lancashire Twos, but he hit Tom Smith over extra for 6.
Oh, mate.
That was just random. Sean Weir-Ratner smashed a couple in that game as well. The two of them, we were down and out, and the both of them just creamed a couple around the park. But yeah, it was Bash hitting over extra 6 at Blackpool was amazing. My other story of Blackpool involves yourself is when we went down a couple of years later, and it got rained off, and you know, we went out the night before in Blackpool. I'll never forget, we were standing outside the chip shop. There was a bunch of Marines that we bumped into, and we were all being a bit mouthy. We were lucky we never got our heads kicked in. Noxie, I think you were telling me, Noxie got a drink poured over him.
Noxie, I'm pretty sure Noxie was giving it the old.
Yeah, he's doing that little shuffle thing. But the next day, we jumped in my Volkswagen Golf. It's a fine day, people open Wendy's, and it was me, you, Gowdy, and Bash, and we were going to go to Old Trafford for an indoor net session. We're driving along the motorway, and we were just all talking crap. And I never forget, there was a woman in a yellow BMW that was driving alongside us, slightly older lady, but you know, she was quite a let's just say a tidy older lady. Right. And you were in the back seat. And all of a sudden you just moonied her out the back window, and she was loving it. She was like, what the hell? And you were just like, how you doing? I'm mooning out the back window. Great moment. That
doesn't sound like me at all, mate.
It doesn't sound like you at all. You would never, you wouldn't think now, you know, a young professional, you know, a professional recruiter of a man of a calibre of yourself would ever do such a thing. But yeah, once upon a time, Flannigan, it did happen. So yeah, moving on. Something I want to really talk to you about that lives on in my memory of you is you were the master of making excuses when you got out, and it used to really piss me off. I remember being at Sheffield Collegiate, great game of cricket down there as well. It was a draw. You opened the batting with Noxie, and you were Oman and I, and you played the mister, but I mean, they had a serious attack as well. Ajmal Shazad, South African, they had a guy Sanderson, they had Lee, they had Lawson, leg spinner, proper attack. And you ran Noxie out, if I'm right. So, you know, you weren't very popular, so Noxie's come in, smashed the changing room up. And then you've come in, and you sat in the balcony, and I'll never forget, you were like, oh, these gloves, they're no good, I've got no grip on the gloves. And I remember just turning around and going, you know what, shut the hell up. You're just making excuses. Why don't you just take it on the chin? You were not at the races. And you're like, no, I'm not shaky, no, it doesn't, no. And I said, get some fucking new gloves in. Do you remember that?
Like, listen, you look back, and as a batsman, you always try and find any excuse apart from yourself, don't you? You always blame someone else. Cricket, I remember facing Ben Stokes down for Durham Twos, and he kept hitting me in the inside thigh. Do you know what I mean? Like, keep squaring me up. Bang. Next one. Bang. Next one. Came down. Like, by the way, you're a useless twat, aren't you?
Yeah.
I said, piss off, you ugly ginger bastard. And the next one he comes in, bang, hits me again. I think I got 35 of 108 balls, and you should have seen the size of the bruise on the inside of my leg. And I came off, and I said, do you know what? Was that a side screen in? There wasn't a side screen. And it's just little things like that. It just it was poor.
Just something. But you know, it's. I'm not going to deny that when I was younger as well, I definitely had a couple. I definitely always tried to be like a hard-nosed cricketer, that, you know, if I snicked off or if I wasn't good enough on the day, I would take it on the chin. But there were definitely moments where I felt hard done by. More, I think I pointed the finger at, you know, certain coaches at times. One in particular that, you know, I took.
You wrote an article about that coach?
I did write an article about that coach, and
how did that go down?
I never ever played for Scotland again after that. So in hindsight, you know, was it the best decision to have made? No, probably not. But was I playing for Scotland at that time when I thought I should have still been very much in the frame? No, I wasn't. Maybe if I just kind of slipped under the radar, new coach comes in, I may well have come back into the fray. Probably by doing that, other coaches probably thought, don't want to touch him with a barge pole. He's a troublemaker, and really, I don't think I was a troublemaker. You played with me. You played under my captaincy. I would always have my teammates back. I played for the team. I was confident in my own ability, but I was never somebody that would stab somebody in the back or, you know, manipulate a situation. I was always straight up with people and tell them how it was. But I want to talk to you about your experiences as well, because not long after that, you then became a full capped Scotland player. So I want to talk to you about your time playing in the national team. You know, who did you go in and you said, I think was it Drummond was your captain when you first went in?
Yeah, I think Drummond was the captain for the first couple of seasons I was in the team, and made my debut against India, and I'll never forget Pete Steindl the night before the debut. He sort of came up to me and he says, "Ryan, he's like, you know, I bet you think, and you have done for a long time, you should be getting this opportunity a lot quicker than that." But I think he said something along the lines, "But you're a prick, or you've been a bit of an idiot, or something like that to me over the years, and it's taken longer, and I've made you wait for it." So that sort of quote and statement to someone who's about to make their debut against India was a strange one. Did it piss me off? I suppose it did piss me off a little bit, but I remember going out to play India that day at Titwood, and I think I ended up, I smashed 22 or 26 and then I left a straight one and it come off stump, toppled out the ground. And again, these boys were on a Titwood wicket, they were going pretty sharp that day, and I think it was quite a memorable day for me. You were there, because I don't know if you played or not.
Yeah, no, I didn't play. That was when I was already I was ready. If you actually look at the picture, Flannigan, that got put up the other day,
you're there.
It's written all over my face how I feel about the whole situation, because I was already
a bit annoyed you coming in the team, no doubt.
Well, that something a similar kind of situation. I went to South Africa for the World Cup qualifiers, where we didn't qualify for the World Cup, and what will live on in my memory is every single time Pete Steindl came to my door to knock on my door to let me know that I wasn't playing the next day, and he used to say to me, "It's better to be here than not be here." And I used to and I remember it was about 4 weeks into the tour, we've got about 2 weeks left. The batters were doing shit. I probably should have had a goal by then. I'd done well in the warm-up games. I'd been selected off the back of what I did in Pakistan. And he came to my room and then he said that same statement. And that was probably the final nails starting to go in my coffin, man, where I just turned around and I just said, "Listen, I couldn't give a flying fuck what you think about that. You were a drinks carrier. I'm not a drinks carrier. I want to play. So you're trying to make me feel better by telling me it's good to be here. I'm pretty much depressed every single day. I sit in the likes of Kyle Coetzer and all these kind of guys. I roomed with Kyle for the 6 weeks. He used to call me the lizard because I would just, but looking back now, I was just depressed. Right. As much as I was in South Africa, you'd think, oh, amazing. I was there. I wanted to play. Got T20 World Cup, went to T20 World Cup. We were told in the warm-up games, if you perform, you'll play. Doesn't matter if you're the right age or not, if you're a youngster or not, if you play. So I didn't play against Bangladesh, and I played against Zimbabwe, and I scored 36 off like 18 or 19 balls. I'd walked off and I had Ewan McIntyre, Maji, a lot of these guys coming up to me and going, "You're going to play against Pakistan in the first game." I went home to the hotel, phoned all my family in Pakistan. I said, "I'm going to be playing," to only get called down to the hotel room lobby the night before the game by Ryan Watson and Pete Steindl to say, "We've gone for experience." And I kicked off and I was like, "Well, what have you brought me here for then?" And they were like, "You're here in a World Cup, you should be." And I'm like, "No, I'm not thankful. I want to play." That's what this Scotland mindset that I've always found has been there. Like, you should feel you should feel privileged to play for your country, but you're there to play. You're not there to strive to carry drinks and keep everybody else, hydrated. I certainly wasn't one of those guys. That's not what I was all about. So looking back, and I think in Pete's way, to be fair to Pete, I think that was probably his way of motivating you, but was the wrong way to do it. I think he should have said, "Look, you've worked really hard to get in here, and I know you've had a tough slog, but this is your time. Yeah. Take it by the scruff of the neck and go out there and now show everybody what you can do." Instead, he's kind of made you almost feel, I think, they're like, "Oh, am I meant to be here? Or should I feel bad that I've got wrong message?" I think it should have been more a bit of a kick in your backside, but making you leave that thinking, "Yeah, I'm ready for this. I'm going to take this opportunity by the scruff of the neck."
No, I think so. I think, and it was, going back, and don't get me wrong, mate, I've done things that I probably regret, and whether it be, giving umpires abuse or something like that, down in my early 17, 18, and sort of went in the wilderness for a while, and obviously I came back, and a lot to I suppose Craig Wright's got a lot to thank for, and Wrighty and me sort of fell out a little bit at the end of the Watson's days, but he got me back on the radar. And then moving into the Scotland team, you're obviously excited, you're proud to be representing your country. And I suppose little statements like that. I think Pete struggled with people who have got a personality like me and you. He wants to see someone who just is the ultimate professional and doesn't say much and keeps himself to himself. And I think that's where we probably clashed with his personality traits as well. Which is I don't want to sit here and slag him off. He gave me the opportunity to play international cricket.
Likewise, yeah.
At the same time that I'm sure we'll go into a bit more detail, but it might have been different with different coaches at the helm. Someone with a bit more batting prowess and skill set when it comes to batting. I think Michael Powell came in later on, and I got
he was awesome.
I got first class 100 against Namibia, and that was all down to the way he talked to me about the mindset and a game plan, and sort of thinking and having a plan before it, and it was patience, and he obviously played as a first class cricketer for Warwickshire for years. You sit up and take note of people like that, and I think you didn't get that feeling with Pete from a batting point of view, and I think it was just he was probably in the helm for too long, mate. I think Scottish cricket was sort of petering away a little bit, wasn't it, under his influence. He's been in it for years, and but that's Cricket Scotland's problem for keeping him in the job for so long, I think.
Look, I'm going to say this as well, because it probably comes across like since I did that article. I mean, I never held any punches back in that article. I said exactly how I felt, and I came out actually after that article. I met with Pete a year or so later, and one of the things he requested of me was that you should clear the air with the papers, and I did an apology article, which is a heartfelt apology, because Pete Steindl actually has a massive influence on my cricket. Pete Steindl was my under-13 coach.
Yeah.
He's got a lovely family, lovely, two lovely daughters. I know his wife well as well. Pete, I had some great times with Pete. There were some great memories with Pete. I think where I got frustrated was when I tried to communicate with him and say, look, you've got an 18 game getting played down the road in Leeds next week. I'm living in Sheffield. I'm available. And I was told, you're not quite in the mix right now. And I'm thinking, I'm not quite in the mix. I've scored more bloody 1800s than any batter in Scotland, together. How are you going to tell me I'm not in the mix? Now, that might come across as arrogant or proud, but no, because, I mean, you played that time as well. I was probably the main run scorer in the second 11 championship for those couple of seasons, and I was leading the team. So I didn't think I had too much to prove, and I'm not going to bring up names, but I was put up against names that I was thinking, I'm not in comparison with those type of players. And I got off the phone and I really got emotional. In hindsight, I wish I hadn't done the article. I really do. But what I said in the article was, I still stand, but I feel it was true that, you look at Ireland, Adrian Birrell, look at the success they had in the World Cup.
Yeah.
Phil Simmons then took over the helm. Look at the success they had under Phil Simmons.
Yeah.
It shows he brought in, and these guys that he coached and brought through, the Potterfields, the Morgans, the Stirlings, the O'Briens, these guys we played against them head to head all the way through junior cricket. I never felt these guys were any more any superior to us. We beat them on our day, they could beat us on their day. I just think they had the better influencers of coaches. And Adrian Birrell, actually, when Pete first got the job, I don't know if you remember this, he acted as like a backup coach. Right. And I think that was everything that was wrong with the whole thing. You can't have a national team coach coming in to get kind of tipped to be the national team coach. You need to be ready to take that job, and you need to be like, this is me. I'm going to run this shit. But my memories of that time were more Adrian Birrell and the influence he had on my cricket, because he was just about your mindset. You just back yourself. If you know what you're capable of, don't worry about all this technical. Your foot didn't go out to that ball. You didn't go to that one. Watch the ball. Be strong-minded, and you will achieve what you want to achieve. Yeah. So it's interesting.
I agree. Listen, I'll back up your statement there as well, because don't get me wrong. A couple of first class 100, a couple of first class 50s, and I got to play at some brilliant grounds. up and down the UK and a lot of test venues, and Pete gave me that opportunity. And to
Absolutely.
be fair, I'll probably let myself down, because at the end of the day, mate, it's up to us, isn't it? We're the people that score runs. We're the people who went out there with the bat, or we're the people who do the fitness or the training away from it as well. So, of course, a little bit of different motivation, different mindset. Things might have been different, but ultimately it's up to us. So, listen, I think things might have been different with Pete. I agree with a lot of things that Pete did. No, I didn't, and selections he made, but that's just us, and I'm not going to be bitter about that. That's for sure.
No. I think if I'm honest with myself as well, I let myself down in some of the areas that Pete wanted me to do better in. I mean, I'll never forget. Pete was actually one of the main reasons I got a contract.
Yeah.
And I got married, first marriage, and I went to Thailand, and I came back fat and unfit, and went through the first couple of training sessions, and I was not at the races and stuff like that. Really pissed Pete off, because he was somebody that wanted you to be at the peak of your fitness, wanted you to be ticking all of those boxes. So in a lot of ways, Pete Steindl had a lot of the, he had a good ethos of what he wanted cricketers to be like. But when it came to batting, just sheer batting, I found it hard to kind of respect them, because I might be wrong, but I always just react better to somebody who I know. Like Andy Moles was somebody that didn't actually get on with a lot of the Scotland players. In fact, player power pushed Andy Moles out. But Andy Moles is a guy that that brought me into the national team, and was basically just had the right mindset for me. Just worked for me. He never got too technical with me. He would just be like, if you're stuck at the crease and you can't get a single away, just figure out how to get a single. If there's just a nerdle one here or nerdle one there, just get, not too complicated, just nice and simple. And that worked well for me, because I think when you go out to bat at the level that we both went out and batted at, you can't be too technical. The game will just pass you by and you won't even know it. You need to know your game in your mind, and you need to have a strong mindset, and it just flows. Like that day in Nottinghamshire, you never ever been out against that kind of level of bowling.
No.
But it just flowed. It just kind of clicked. So, mate, that's awesome. You achieved some great heights. First class 100 for your country against Namibia. First class 50s, 18 hundreds. Why? What age were you, Ryan, when you played your last game for Scotland?
25. I think it was 25, 26, mate. I think, to be honest, and it was the time when all the English lads came in and they started qualifying to play for Scotland, and they brought boys in like Rob Taylor, who was useless as far as I'm concerned. Like Matt Mitchum was a good cricketer, very good cricketer. Josh Davies was a decent cricketer, but some of the players they brought in, that, and Pete was at the helm of this as well. He thought, we'll bring in some English lads who've got a Scottish second cousin or something.
Aye.
And I remember going on tour to South Africa with the Scotland team, and we're in Potchefstroom, and I was playing against Kolkata Knight Riders, and I was hitting these boys off my legs for six, hitting them straight down the ground for six. I was timing the ball and probably playing the best cricket I've ever played at 25, 26, and I came away from that tour thinking to myself, God, I've got to go get a job and then start earning some money here, because these boys are coming in. Contracts are, am I going to get a peanut contract, maybe 10 grand a year if I'm lucky? Do you know what I mean? So 25, 26, mate, I'm still hitting the ball better than ever. Still believe I'm better than a lot of the players in there. Competing with Freddie Coleman. Freddie, obviously a decent cricketer again, but I believe I could probably outplay him as a batsman. Cal McLeod was doing well, and Cal's wanting to obviously do very well.
But not back then. Not back then. Back then, you would never have said Callum McLeod's a better batter than Ryan Flannigan at that point. No,
but Callum probably had something different than me, didn't he? He had a will to succeed, I think, and just practice and practice and practice.
He had a real arrogance about him as well, the way he would kind of train, and he just had a strut about him. I still surprises me. I never thought he was this good. I honestly didn't think he was this good, but what Callum McLeod's done is
it's phenomenal.
Incredible.
Numbers don't lie now, do you know what I mean? But it's like, for me, mate, 25, 26, you look at players like Neil McCallum was playing in the Scotland team, and Fraser Watts, they're 31, 32, and I just, that time changed for me, and I made a decision, do I want to play part-time, and do I want to get paid peanuts, and do I want to be coached by Pete anymore? and it came to the point where I decided to go and start making some money. So yeah, it was a short-lived, maybe 3 or 4, what was it, 21 debut, 25, maybe 4 years in and around the Scotland team, you know, playing 18 cricket. It was great fun, but it was short-lived.
Yeah, it's a real shame though. I mean, you tell me many 25-year-olds that had a first-class 100 under their belt for their country. I can tell you that it wasn't many. We're kind of, I think we both appreciate what we've been able to do in our life, but we probably have got a bit of a similar story. I never played for Scotland again after the age of 28, and that was at that point with people slag me off in club cricket all the time. I get rinsed for this, but you know what? I've got them. It's like Conor McGregor. Guess what? I back up. I had 3 first-class hundreds under my belt, one of which was in Pakistan. 2 were back-to-back, one against Ireland and one in Kenya away. Both were very important innings that probably got us into going to play in the I-Cup final. And I never even got to play in the I-Cup final that year when I scored 2.
Is that against Afghanistan in Dubai?
I think you might have played. Did you?
No, I was 12th man.
12th man. I wasn't even on the trip. So, you know, okay, I'd gone out of form a little bit and I hadn't scored runs for a few games. But, you know, if you scored 100, 200 in a competition to get you to the final, you know, I would have liked to have be given the opportunity to have played in that final. I thought I merited it. But such is life. You know, I look back now, and you're probably the same. We give thanks for the experiences that we have been able to have along the way, and that we're able to talk about these kind of things now. But my next question I was going to come on to, you know, are you satisfied with your career?
It's a funny one, mate. For me, it's like I never want to, you know, live with a what if or what could have been, and everyone always just say, you know, like how much talent and ability, you know, Flannigan has. And to be honest, at least I'll still be known as one of those wickets where people are happy when they get me out. Do you know what I mean? In club cricket, for me, that still means a lot. And I think, yeah, hey, we've been brought up playing on better wickets and week in, week out, and I dedicated my 100% to cricket. I probably could have been playing county cricket. Definitely believe that. But at the same time, yeah, was I big enough into my fitness or big enough into my fielding? Probably not, mate. So I think, listen, no regrets. What's the point? You know.
You love the ladies, Flanners. You love the ladies.
You know, listen, there's nothing wrong with that, is there? We're taking that from old man. But if you're around people like Gowdy and Berrington, you know, it's difficult not to, isn't it?
No, it was. We had a good bunch back then. The banter was top notch. Yeah, great group. I mean, yourself, the two names you just named, Sean Weeraratne, Omar Hussain, Majid Haq. I'm trying to think who else. Hoggy. Great bunch. And I think it was a good mix because by that point, like guys like myself, Ross Lines, Sean, we were a bit older, and then you boys came in, but it wasn't a big difference in age, and we all still had some really, really good banter together.
We're a good A team, mate. We're some decent squads. With some, you know, we played some good cricket at that A team level, didn't we? We got a couple of decent results and beat Leicester, I think, and we drew with Durham.
We drew with Yorkshire that day. That one down. We were 9 down when Bash had to go in and defend the last 2 balls, but that was a serious Yorkshire team. I mean, their knocks I look at. They don't really get recognition, but they're knocks that I look back at that give me so much pride because they were proper. I mean, don't know if you played against Durham one year when they turned up for a second team game and their bowling attack was Graham Onions, Mitchell Claydon, Mark Davies, Paul Wiseman. Yeah, that would be a championship attack on any given championship match, and I don't think we got enough credit for that. I was actually talking to Richie Berrington about it a while ago, and he was saying that, you know, that period of time paved the way for a lot of good cricketers to come through, and you know, certainly helped his cricket because when we first started in it, we got bullied a bit. This would have been before you came in, the season before, when Drenno was the coach, and we got bullied a little bit by a few of the county teams, and we just started to get better each game. Started to just think we can do better than this. Until that we got to the point that we beat Lancashire that year. A great game, some great, you know, fantastic game of cricket. We then went on to play great games, like you're saying, beating Leicester. You played in a game where we drew it against Yorkshire down at Collegiate. and you used to come away from those games feeling like,
Wasn't.
and a bit like yourself, I've always been gutted that I never made a county career, because if I was for a Scotland batter to make hundreds against these guys, I always used to feel frustrated when I used to see a trialist that would come out. You'd always know the trialist when he would come out to bat, and he'd just be like, not at the races. And then you'd think when you went out and got runs against their attack, just to scratch my head and wonder, why are we not getting a look in? But I think it had a lot to do with money. The money in the game back then was not exactly flooding the game, to be honest. There wasn't that much. Especially if they had a couple of big overseas players, that took up most of the budget.
Yeah. No, but hey, listen, Andy Tennant and Tenors was a big part of my career as well. Do you know what I mean? I was Tenor's love child, wasn't I? He looked after me.
Well, you were Tenor's love child. That was a chat. If you turned up later, then it was always, okay, Ryan, it's okay. Tenor's loved you. If Tenor's had been the Scotland national coach, you would have played for 15 years, mate.
I'd still be playing now, mate. What are you on about?
You'd still be playing now, exactly. And for probably another 4 or 5 years. No, Andy was a good man. I think Andy knew how to deal with people.
Exactly, he's a good.
Yeah, he knew how to deal with people. He knew how to have conversations.
Technically, I believe he's a decent spinner, but obviously from a batsman point of view, Tenors he wouldn't have a clue. But he was a great guy.
No, good guy, Tenors, good guy, and we had a good few 18 Euros under him. He was good on tour as well, because he had a bit of banter about him, so you could have a laugh with Tenors. It wasn't like, oh, there's a coach, let's avoid him at all costs. Nice. Brings me to another funny story. Holland, remember that night?
Maybe.
The night that we decided all to go to Amsterdam.
Oh, for goodness sake!
And it was like an hour and a quarter taxi journey.
Was that the time when I had to pay everyone's taxi fare?
Yeah, and the taxi driver was like, "Oh, Flanners, one more story we need to talk about. We might have the Dutch authorities coming looking for us after this one." It was a night out that me, you, Richie Berrington, and Zishan Bashir had in Deventer, Holland. This can be kind of one of our parting stories.
You've got a better memory than me, by the way. I'll just add that.
Well, you'll remember this, son, when it gets started. So we'd gone out and we were in Deventer, and we spent all our money. Literally, we spent all our money, and there was no public transport of any means, so we had to get a taxi.
Aye.
So we'd all discussed it. We said, right, we're going to get a taxi, and we're going to have to park about a mile away from the hotel, and we need to run. So me and Rich, I remember I was in the front seat, Richie was in the back left, Bash was in the middle, you were back right. We talked about it all the way to get in the taxi. Like, it was like, listen, when we say go, you've got to go. And you boys were like, I'm down, I'm ready, I'll be gone, I'll be out of there. We're driving the taxi, the heart rate's going a bit like that. You're trying to stay calm and act normal because you don't want the taxi driver to know that we've got no money, but we need to get home. Our bus was leaving the next morning at like 8:30 in the morning.
No.
So we pulled up, and I remember opening my side of the door. Richie opened his, and I said, go! And me and Richie were gone, mate. We were gone. All I could remember was hearing my footsteps hitting the pavement because I was running that fast. But for some reason, I never get my head around it. You can talk me through the rest from that moment if you remember now. Why didn't you run? You and Bash just froze. This guy jumped out.
I'm pretty sure I was in the middle and Bash was on the left, mate.
Maybe still okay. So Bash didn't move.
I think I went to go left and Bash was just there. He just wasn't moving. And by the time we opened the door, the guy who's run the front, no, you go nowhere. You
closed the door.
He had us by the throats and everything. And
then you thought we got back to the hotel and we were like, where the hell are they? Honestly, and then you phoned us. Bash phoned us and said, listen, the guy's threatening to take us to the police station, and we were like, why didn't you run? And you were like, oh, look, we're going to pay him. So you basically, I think, begged them and said, please don't take us to the police station. Take us to a bank machine, and somehow we're going to get money. We're going to pay you. Which actually, coming back to that, Bash did have money on him, so that might be. He could. I think it might. Who knows what was the story behind it? Somebody who's been a tight git. We'd spent the cash that we had. The euros were out, but we could have went. I don't know what the story was, but
we've got a few stories from Amsterdam and these tours, like the crazy taxi drivers rallying about the place. And
were you in the taxi on the way there as well when we got the rally? Oh my God! We got in the
What was the piano bar? Where was the piano bar again? Was that in Rotterdam or something like that?
Yeah, that's what I was on the waterfront. That was mental, that place. Oh. But the guy that took us in the taxi that night, he was mental. I thought we were going to die, and he was like, he was
cheating the back.
What do you call it? He was drifting round the roundabouts. Oh my God!
You know what? That's the thing about cricket, though, is and that's why you know I sort of said to myself last year I want to give up and start playing golf and all that, but you miss the camaraderie and the nights out we had and the and the drinks, and that's the whole part of cricket is social life, isn't it? It's just some of the memories I've got are you look back and think, geez, I was involved in a few things over the years and pranks, and Richie Berrington's the biggest prankster you ever meet, and you always try to follow suit. So it was there was some cracking times.
Great times. Even the travelling down, getting together in the car, and then you get to the service station and somebody's getting scanted going into the service station, or you get down and the pranks were Berrington, man, he was unreal. I probably wasn't too far behind him in some of the shit that I'd done. Some of the stuff I actually look back and think, man, that wasn't very nice what I did. Some of the stuff that you do, but back then it was just there was nothing else to do. You're in the hotel, you're just 14 young lads all together, and just and then you had the likes of Simon Smith and Gregor Maiden who just wanted to read a book and sit, and it was like they were like the sensible ones, but we were everything that wasn't sensible. We got up to a lot of shit. I want to finish, mate, with some quick questions. Mm-hmm. Nothing that I want you to think too long about. Just want you to just answer naturally. So, who was your favourite national teammate?
Barrow.
Richie Berrington.
Oh, it was close. Barrow and Hoggy, definitely very close.
Very close with both of them. Both top lads.
Yeah.
Who was the best player you played with in the Scotland national team?
Scottish player.
Yeah.
Kyle. Good sir. Different class. One of the best batsmen.
I think that knock against Bangladesh. I'm due to speak to him tomorrow, and I'm going to be getting really excited about talking to him about that knock, because I was in Pakistan watching that knock, and I've never seen a Scot, apart from now what Callum McLeod's just done.
Yeah.
But to be honest, Kyle was doing it. That was a World Cup stage. That was no kind of friendly international game. Not that Callum's knock will live on as, I think they're probably two of the best knocks ever by two Scottish batsmen.
Of course.
But Kyle that day was just in a different world.
Kyle's just different class, in the amount of times I batted with him at their end, and that high elbow, and he's a great guy. You never see a Scottish cricketer hit the ball straight as Kyle do. He's phenomenal talent and great guy as well.
No, fantastic, and long may his success continue, because the Scotland team has gone from strength to strength under his leadership, and I'm looking forward to chatting to him a bit more about where it all kind of changed, because up until my time, that click hadn't happened yet, where they now can go out and actually look like they're going to beat some of the big boys.
I think they got away from that fear, didn't they, mate? I think it'd be interesting, actually. Hopefully, you ask some probing questions with Kyle, and maybe he can let us know where it and how it changed. Was it a coach, or was it a mindset, or was it the way they trained? It'd love to hear them, because obviously they've had a lot more. Well, to see that, I remember when Wrighty's era and when you were kicking about.
Yeah, no, there's some good times, but I think internationally, Wrighty's era was beating the counties. Scotland had come into the CB40 and stuff like that, or wasn't even the CB40. It was like
they beat Ireland in that phase.
Scotland was probably the leading associate country at that point by far, but we were never able to at that point make the transition into the test, playing against the test. Now when they go in the park to play against the test playing nation, you kind of believe that we should have beaten West Indies that day if it wasn't for the rain.
Yeah.
When Richie got out LBW just before Duckworth Lewis cost us, I think we would have won that game. Yeah. Next question is, who's the worst bloke you've ever played with, apart from me?
Sean Weir-Ratner.
Sean. Do you know? I've got to say something here. I was talking to Ali Farouk the other day, and he'd said to me that when we did my podcast with Hoggy the other day, he said, I think he might have upset Sean by kind of saying that he was like an arrogant sod, and he'd always be like, "Hey champ, get on with it, there, champ," and all that kind of stuff. And you sometimes just wanted to punch his face in. But actually, what I was actually trying to say was, Sean had a knack of getting under your skin, big time. But I love playing cricket with Sean. I think he was a great guy. He would never do you wrong. He would do anything for you. If you needed his help, he would do anything for you. He just happened to like to rub you up the wrong way, and he was good at it. He was good at it because I've had some run-ins with him on the pitch as well, and he really was able to get under my skin. But if you're watching, Sean, it's all love. It's Flanners that hates you.
He kept getting me out, mate. That's the thing, and he was one of those people you did. Yeah, I hated playing against him because he was good in his day, and he was competitive, wasn't he? And I think there's a few blokes that I probably didn't enjoy playing cricket with, but to be fair, mate, there's a lot of people who don't like me as well, so I'm all good with that.
All good. I fall into just the same bracket, mate. So sometimes, people that everybody loves you, there's something wrong. Exactly. There's something wrong because not everyone's going to love you. But I mean, the line of work that me and you're in, you've got to kind of have people loving you because I'm business development out there trying to get new contracts in. So I've got to be a lot nicer in this industry than I have to be when I was a cricketer. There's a lot of people I don't like, but I can't really tell them that. You're probably the same in the world of recruitment. There's times where you just really dislike a client, but you just got to say, "Lovely to see you. Wishing you all the best." So it's amazing how the industry's sport, you can kind of speak your mind a bit more, but then you can kind of get stung by speaking your mind a bit too much as well. But in the business world, you need to be kind of, the upfront citizen, nice gentleman always. My next one would be, who's the best player you ever played against?
It's a hard one, that actually. I'm obviously lucky enough to play with George Bailey, who's Bales. Alex Hales, I played against him. I played with him. He was class in his day. I remember playing against Sean Tate over in Australia. But he played against so many decent players, mate. Do you know what I mean? We played a lot of county CB40 cricket as well. You come up against guys playing for Surrey, so it's hard to pinpoint it. I never really got to play against like a Ricky Ponting or these sort of players. I wasn't fortunate to do that, but came across a lot of good county cricketers, and I was very.
So who's one player that you played against that there's plenty of top.
Probably Josh Butler, actually. Josh Butler, when he was 18, he came up. Scotland under 19s played England under 18s, I think it was, and he came up and got 140 at Titwood. He was just insane from day one. I thought, that guy's unbelievable, and look what he's went on to be. Phenomenal.
Yeah, he's a freak, isn't he? What I find mad about him is he can hit the ball for six when he wants to hit the ball for six. I was good at getting a single when I needed to get a single, but hitting a six was something that, bloody hell, man, I had to get down a wicket to the spinner or be sure that I was hitting it clean. But this guy can I'm not even trying to say that I'm like comparing myself, but just talking as a cricketing mindset point of view, hitting a six is in this day and age, guys are.
These guys are different, mate. I remember playing against Yorkshire Twos and Johnny Bairstow came out the bat. Remember, as a young lad.
Yeah.
First ball, he done, he reverse sweeped it for four. First ball, second game.
What are you doing? What are you doing, mate?
What's this boy doing? But look at him. He's unbelievable. So that just shows you the talent, and these guys are phenomenal. The
confidence as well, I think. Their confidence is they feel they know their game that well that they've got the arrogance to come out and reverse sweep the first ball. Would never have dreamed of doing something like that. I've got to see the first 5-6 balls, and the only way I'm getting a one away early is if you bowl me a half volley or something, I'll go for you. Otherwise, I'm looking to see the ball first. To come out and just think, right, I'm reverse sweeping that is incredible.
Madness.
My highlight, speaking of that, and it shows where Scottish cricket's at just now, is Michael Lease coming out to bat against England, and he hit Wood for a 6 over long off first ball. I've never seen anything like it from a Scottish cricketer. And that just showed me that day that these boys are on a different mindset. You would go out back then to say, right, try and get in here, and try and get. Let's try and get 250 here, boys.
Yeah.
Like Scotland went out that day with the intention to score 350 plus, and if a guy's coming in at number 6 or 7, I think he came in and smokes the first ball over long off for 6. That just showed everything you need to know where their mindset was. That they'd discussed. I actually put a tweet out the other day about Grant Bradburn. I think I'm gutted I never played under him. He's got to take a lot of credit as well, because it seemed to be that him and first Preston Momsen formed quite a good partnership, and then laterally him and Kyle Coetzer, and the game in Scotland definitely changed for the better.
Yeah, definitely agree.
Flanners, it's been a pleasure. Episode 1 is done and dusted. Let's see where this all goes, and might get you back on again one day. I might get like a group session and get a couple of the other boys on, like you were saying, the Hoggies, the Richie Berringtons, and we can go. We can slip down memory lane. But hopefully, I'll be posting this. I don't know about all this editing nonsense and all that crap. I'm quite happy with the way this is just free flowed. I might just chuck it out there, mate, and let's see what the people think. But I think it's been an enjoyable chat, and I appreciate your time. You take care of yourself.
Good to catch up with you, mate, and I appreciate your time. All right, you take care.
Take care, Flanners.
Cheers.
Cheers, buddy. Bye bye.